Hello, my name is Athena Drew, and I will be giving you the Housing Services Office brief. First, we're going to talk about unaccompanied housing branch. There are a few things that you need to know. So certificates of non-availability, if you have a CNA from another installation, it's not valid here at Joint Base Lewis McChord. You will have to get another one. If you're a single unaccompanied E5 and below, you're not authorized to enter into a lease without the garrison commander's approval. For more information, you'll need to go to the unaccompanied housing branch and email them at this email on the slide. BAH for dual military. Unaccompanied service members, a service member married to another service member, and they are E5 and below, and you are on separate tours. Like one person is stationed here and another person is stationed in Alaska. If you do not have any dependents with you, you're going to be housed the same as a single soldier in the barracks. But if your spouse is coming within 120 days, make sure to have their orders with you so that way you can go ahead and live off post. So Space A, service members who are receiving BAH are only allowed to stay in the barracks on a space available basis. Now, the Space A personnel residing in the barracks more than 72 hours are required to get approval from the garrison commander. You will go, just like a CNA, to unaccompanied housing branch and contact them. And here again is their email below. Service members that are accepting on-post housing here at Joint Base Lewis McChord are encouraged before they sign their lease to read over the NDAA plain language briefing dated 17 November 2021. It's on the Joint Base Lewis McChord housing website under housing as follows, and you can see that on the slide. So now we're on to the Housing Services Office. We are located in Building 5128 on Pendleton Avenue. If you're on Pendleton, it's right behind Waller Hall. Our phone number is 253-967-3581, and that is our email address right there. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 08 to 1500. We can do everything by phone and email for you, but if you really do want to have an in-person appointment, here's our link to our appointment site. So we help people who are authorized to receive BAH, and we like to talk to you before you enter into any lease or rental agreement. What we do is we provide rental listings and area maps. We talk about housing counseling and education. We do tenant-landlord dispute mediation, whether you're the tenant or the landlord. We answer specific questions on leases, such as lease terms, or if you have anything that you don't understand that's in your lease. We don't do full lease reviews. If you need a full lease review, you definitely will need to go to JAG. We also are going to talk about the rental partnership program, and we have information on temporary accommodations. Off-base rental listings. Here are a few websites that we can suggest for you to find some homes off post. Most property management companies maintain their own websites. If you'd like a list of property management companies that don't charge a fee for their listing, please let us know. Red flags. Some of the things that we would like you to look out for is move-in specials. Sometimes with move-in specials, they'll ask you to pay the concessions back if you break your lease. Of course, we mean break your lease without orders. Another red flag is a one-way lease. A one-way lease is where you will sign a lease for 12 months on a month-to-month basis. This means that your property management can change the terms of the lease every single month. We do not find that beneficial for service members. The rental partnership program. Service members who are participating in the rental partnership program will receive a minimum of 5% off the market rate rent. There's waived deposit fees, admin fees, and credit check fees. So there's a minimal cost to move in. It's just your prorated rent and if they charge a cleaning fee. RPP properties are inspected by the Housing Services Office, and you cannot be refused for credit issues other than rental history or criminal history, and that's on a case-to-case basis. Leases are reviewed to ensure that they comply with state and federal laws. Your landlord is going to receive the rent by allotment, and the Housing Services Office is the authority to tell you to start, stop, or change that RPP amount. Sometimes things sound too good to be true, and they probably are. That's why we're going to talk about rental scams. Some things that rental scam people will do is try to pressure you to send them money, sometimes through PayPal or Facebook or some kind of cash app that's out there. If they ask you for a wire transfer, you need to protect yourself. Before putting any money down, you want to do some research. And here are some of the websites that you can go to research the property. Pierce County and Thurston County both have websites where you can research to see who actually owns the property. You also have the Department of Licensing, so you can check out to make sure that business is a real business. Right here, you have the footprint of Joint Base Lewis McChord. This way you can see the surrounding towns and see how far they are from Joint Base Lewis McChord and where you work. Next, we're going to talk about crime. The number one common crime in the area is vehicle break-ins. Please make sure that your car is locked and don't leave anything in it, especially your gear. Here are some of the websites that you can look at to check out the area that you might want to live in. You can also talk to your local police department. When you're looking for a place to live, some of the things that you might want to do is check out the property at night. You want to talk to the neighbors to see, hey, how is it living here? Also, talk to other service members who are already living there. They'll always definitely tell you how they feel about it. Another website you can go to is greatschools.net. It's really important. Remember, good schools tend to mean good neighborhoods. Here's an example of one of the crime websites. And you can see that the crime tends to dissipate the further you get away from freeways. This one's Tacoma. We've got Lakewood. And here is down in the Olympia area. Please remember that different police departments are going to populate to different crime statistic websites. So make sure you do your due diligence before you rent a place. Next, we're going to talk about military clauses. You can find those in the Service Members Civil Relief Act and RCW 59-18-200. That's the Washington State Landlord-Tenant Law. The military clause allows a service member's spouse, or dependents to terminate the residential lease any time after orders are received. Sometimes we don't always get our orders in a timely manner, so if the company commander writes you a memorandum, that also will suffice. If you have orders, the landlord cannot charge you any penalties when you terminate that lease. Here at the HSO, we want you to notify your landlord within 7 days of receiving those orders, and you must provide a 20-day notice of intent to vacate when possible. All right, now we're on selecting your home. If it's not in writing, it's not binding. I can promise to fix the roof and give you new carpet, but if it's not in the lease, I don't have to do it as a property manager. Credit checks can be expensive. I've seen where they charge up to $100 per person over the age of 18. You want to make sure that you know what they want before you give them that money. Do they want a 700 credit score? Do they want you to make 4 times the amount of rent? Those are things that are very important to know. Pet information, it's really important to know if they have restricted breeds or not. Know that service animals are not a pet, they are a prescription. Rental increases have to be given 60 days notice. That means before your lease is up, they have to let you know 60 days in advance. If they don't, please let us know. A deposit is refundable, a fee is not. With a fee, you're never going to see that money again. With damages and security deposits, the landlord has 21 days to get you back your deposit. That doesn't mean in your hand, that means with a stamp. If the landlord does not give you the full deposit back, they do have to give you an itemized list on why they kept your money. Renter's insurance is strongly recommended, even if you live in the barracks. Remember, normal insurance will cover a building, but with renter's insurance, it will help you with your personal property. Repair requests have got to be in writing every single time. There are time limits and time frames that the property management has to follow, such as there's 10-day ones, 72-hour ones, and 24-hour ones. If it's not in writing, it's not binding, just like I said before. They don't have to start that time frame until they have it in writing. Also know that Washington State can be a little wet here, so there's a tendency for mildew and mold to grow. If that happens and you're doing every single thing possible to keep it from growing, please contact your landlord or your property management company and ask them to help you with a work order. Work orders are always very important. Move-in inspections are required by law. Please, when you do your move-in inspection, be as picky as you can be. If it's dusty, put dusty or dirty. If there's carpets frayed, make sure that you put the carpet is frayed. Dings, dents, scratches, every single thing that you can find, write it on that move-in inspection. Because that person who did your move-in inspection might not be the same person who does your move-out inspection. You want to make sure that you don't get charged for anything that you did not do. Your notice of intent to vacate needs to be at minimum 20 days so they do not charge you the next month's rent. If you would like a tenant landlord publication, please go ahead and go to this website, or you can contact us and we'd be happy to send you one. Here are some helpful links for you. Did you know in Washington State, if you get a driver's license, it does not expire till 90 days after you leave the service? Next, we're going to talk about on-base privatized lodging. Here at Joint Base Lewis McChord, those service members who have PCS here are allowed to get what's called the BAH rate. Please make sure that you ask for that BAH rate once you get here. If you forget, the price will not be retroactive. Know that there is pet fees if you have a pet, and service members have to provide their orders to be able to get that rate form. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the on-post lodging. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give us a call, write us an email, or even set up an appointment. We want to welcome you to Joint Base Lewis McChord, and I hope you enjoy your stay.